How's it experience been for you?
Well, it's been great, and you know, I've done this career for all these years, but we never are around the fans, and so for me, it's very gratifying to meet them. You know, it's great.
I've had the opportunity to talk to Carol Spinney in the past, and one question I asked him, I'd like to ask you as well. What was the number one thing you took away from your work when you worked with Jim Henson?
Oh wow, Jim was not just an amazing person, but an amazing leader, and he cared. He cared far more about the work than he did about the money and the business side. Although he was an incredibly good businessman, he was, you know, he cared about the fans, but mostly he cared about doing really good quality work. And he was an amazing collaborator with people. He really cared what we thought. He didn't always use it, but we didn't mind, you know, and we all felt very included in the work. And he just had methods and ways of working with people. He had great skills of just making you feel a part of the whole project, you know.
Were there any characters that you developed that all came up, or ones that you worked on that you felt never got their fair share, you really wanted to bring to the forefront more?
Oh, well, let's see. Actually, I have to kind of say no. My favorite character that was ever originated for me was a character named Rizzo the Rat. And Rizzo sort of was up and down in projects. You know, sometimes he had really major roles and sometimes not quite as much as I would have enjoyed. But there came a time when I was performing Kermit so regularly that it occupied most of my time at work. So I didn't get to do as much of Rizzo. You know, I would still voice it, but oftentimes we'd have a second performer do the character. So I would have loved to have played more with Rizzo. You know, that would have been more fun.
Now, I think it's safe to say that puppetry in general kind of hit its peak in the 70s and 80s. With various different projects. Where do you see the medium now?
Well, I think there's a strong place for it. When I used to be interviewed when I was doing Kermit, you never saw me, you see Kermit, but I would always have people would ask Kermit, what do you think about CG characters? And Kermit would say, well, I don't have a problem with them, but if I was CG right now, this is what the interview would look like, and we would pop him down out of sight. You know, so I think there's a realism to them, and it's just a different way of having characters exist. And I love their interaction with people, the fact that you can put your hands on them. And I think fans realize that. I think they know the difference. If they were in the room with a character like Kermit or another puppet, they know that they could put their hands on it and touch them and talk to them, you know.
What do you have coming up?
Well, I'm working on a lot of new projects of my own. It's very slow to start that stuff. But you know, I'm not as old as I look. And I hope I have a lot more time to do a lot more things. I've got several things that I'm working on with different characters that, you know, hopefully you'll see.